Hello everyone! Today, I want to talk about something that brings a touch of green to our long, cold winters, evergreen plants. Hi, I'm Jin. I live in Iowa, Zone 5B. Our winters here are long and harsh. Can you imagine when all the plants die down and there's nothing left but the ground and snow for 3-4 months? It really gets to me and makes me feel quite down. That's why evergreen plants are so important in the landscape for cold climates. They provide the year-round color and life even when everything else has gone dormant. If you're interested in learning about evergreen plants and see what they have in my small landscape, please come along. Let's get started. When I first started gardening, one of the questions I had was, what's the difference between evergreens and conifers? To make it simple, evergreens are plants that do not lose their leaves in fall and winter, while most conifers are also evergreen. Conifers are plants that reproduce by cones to hold their seeds. But non-conifer evergreens will produce flowers to hold their seed instead. In the first half of the video, I will be talking about the evergreen plants, and the second half will be discussed about conifers. The first plant that I want to talk about is Nordic Carpet. This is an evergreen ground cover that produces red berries in fall, and its foliage changes to a beautiful orangey toward the burgundy in the winter. The Nordic Carpet grows to about 3 to 6 inches tall and 18 to 24 inches wide. It's a drought tolerant and very easy to establish. I planted a couple of them this spring, and even though I didn't care for them as much as I should, they have thrived. This is a plant that's great for banks and slopes as a subshrub. It's also rabbit resistant, which is a big plus. The deer may nibble, but generally is seldomly severely damaged by deer. The next one is SteppeSuns Sunset Grow Penstemon. It is the result of more than 20 years of breeding work at the Denver Botanical Gardens. This Penstemon has a natural mounding form with a glossy green leaves that look like pine needles but are soft to touch. It is another ground cover type with 12 to 18 inches tall and 18 to 24 inches wide. It has an orange tubular flower that bloom through the summer. It likes full sun, but in this area I think it might be partial shade during the growing season and full sun in winter. It is drought tolerant, deer and rabbit resistant. Next to it they have Sedum Angelina. It's a ground cover type sedum that grows to only 4 inches tall but spreads to 24 inches wide. It has a yellow leaves during the growing season. Once the weather gets cold, it will start to turn coppery orange at the tip, and toward the end of the winter it can turn red before slowly coming back to yellow. It also has a yellow star-like flowers that make me confused if it is a new growth or flowers. These can become leggy later, but after you prune the flowers, they look neat again. It is very easy to propagate. Just pull them and put them in the location where you want them to grow. As the stems touch the soil, they will send out the roots. It is very easy to care and drought tolerant. It is supposed to be deer and rabbit resistant, but in the middle of the winter, deer in my area ate them. However, they bounce back very quickly in the spring. The next plant is the color guard Yucca. I am surprised that this tropical-looking sword-like plant is actually evergreen. It can grow 3 to 6 feet tall and 2 to 3 feet wide. This drought-tolerant plant doesn't mind the heat, poor sandy soil, or even salt. During the colder month, the light center can take a rose overtone, but I haven't seen the changes yet. It can produce a very tall white flower in the summer, very easy to propagate from the basal offset. Deer and rabbit resistant, but when nothing left behind in the winter, deer in my area will eat the tip of the yucca even though it's quite pokey. The next one is Thymus Coccineum, or Mother of Thyme. It is an evergreen ground cover that grows only 3 inches tall and 8 to 12 inches wide. I love the soft cushion of the green dense mats during the growing season, which can also flower in the summer. Toward the winter, the foliage changes to the reddish purplish color, create a different look for your garden in each different seasons. Another thymus that I have is Thymus silver Posie. It is actually taller than I imagined, growing about 6 to 9 inches tall and 18 inches wide. They said it had a lavender pink flower and the foliage turned burgundy in winter. I haven't seen the flower or the foliage changes yet, but this is the first year that it was planted. You can use it for cooking because it has some nice aroma, deer resistant, and I haven't seen the rabbit having bothered it yet. Next to it I have Himalayan Blueberry, which is a dwarf mounted form of the blueberry that I bought on sale this fall. At the website where I bought it, they said that it can grow only 15 inches tall, but when I searched it, it said that it can also grow up to 1 to 3 feet tall from the university website. So we'll see. The next plant is Armeria or sea thrips. I really love this cute little green plant that looks like grass, but it is an evergreen with a nice globe-like flower that constantly blooms until frost. I have 3 different varieties: Daydream, Dreamland, and Ruby Foria. The Ruby Foria has purplish leaves instead of green. They're small, reaching about 10 to 12 inches tall and 12 to 14 inches wide, but grow too slow to use as a ground cover. They are very low maintenance and love poor soil, drought tolerant, and rabbit and deer don't bother them. Here, I'm so excited to show you that I finally found a holly that is cold hardy down to zone 5. It is a castle-spired blue holly. Because most of the holly just cold hardy down to zone 7, so I'm super excited to have this classic look in my garden. Castle Spire is the female plant that produces the red berries when you have a male holly, which is a castle wall within 50 feet. One male can pollinate up to 5 female. It has a very strong pyramidal shape and can reach 6 to 10 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. When I was doing a fall cleanup, I noticed there are some leaf spots and it lost some leaves. I found out that you need to have a good air circulation. So in the spring, I was planning to remove the Hellebore and also the Sedum to improve the air circulation. Instead of castle wall, I found Castle Rouge, which is a male plant for my castle spire. Castle Rouge has striking red tips on the new growth and the whole thing turned burgundies in winter. Although I haven't seen it turn burgundy yet, it might be because it's still too young as I just planted this spring. Or perhaps it hasn't been cold enough. You know, sometimes I have noticed that the best time to see all the color changes is actually in March, after a long cold winter. The next evergreen plant is Hellebore. I absolutely love Hellebores because of their large, leathery, maple-shaped leaves and their flower that bloom in the winter when nothing else does. They are very long-blooming plant in the landscape. What you think it is a flower is actually a sepal, which protect the flower located in the center of the plants. As the flower turns into the seed pod, the sepal becomes stiff and green, lasts a few weeks in the vase and even months in the landscape. This is probably the plant that I would say not to buy online because the online plants are usually very young and small, and Hellebore takes few years to start flowering, which is why their price is much higher than other plants. The next up is Erica Mary Helen. This wonderful mounding winter bloom heath gives you a pink flower that outshines most other of its kind from February through April. It will reach about 10 inches high and 18 inches wide. I have a couple of them, but there's a lot of more activity around this plant, so I hope they survive. Close to it I have Heather, Calluna vulgaris Blazeaway. The foliage turned a striking red in the wintertime from sun-kissed gold in summer. This variety have lavender flower that bloom from August to September. I was surprised to see that rabbits have been nibbling on my Blazeaway. If they don't nibble, it will technically reach 12 inches high and 15 to 18 inches wide. It's hardy from zone 4 to 9, though some said it's only called hardy to zone 6. We'll see if they come back. The next one that I'm super excited to know that it is evergreen is the Lavender Platinum Blonde. It is an English lavender with a variegated leaves. I love how the color changes to be more blue-green in the winter. It will reach about 1 to 2 feet tall and wide. Some said it will hold hardy to zone 5, while others said zone 6. I planted in the location that get all-day sun, so hopefully that it will come back next year. This is just a small list of evergreen plants in my landscape, but there are many more options like boxwood, yew, Japanese Paris, leucothor, pyracantha, and etc. You can explore these and find out what suits with your style and landscape best. Now, let's jump over and see what conifer I have for my small garden. The first one is Anna Magic Ball Arborvitae. This cute little sphere cheerful yellow foliage is a delightful addition to any garden. Generally, if you want the plant to retain yellow color, you should place them in the full sun. However, this area has become shaded because of my maple tree, so you can see it is greener than what you might expect. It's a small, low-maintenance plant that requires no pruning and reaches 2 to 3 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide. The next one is Gold Juniper. It's a lovely exclamation point in the garden, slow growing and only reaching 3 to 5 feet tall and 1 to 2 feet wide. The foliage emerge a bright gold in the spring and then fade into the brush green by winter. The next one is my favorite Colorado blue spruce, Picea pungent Ruby Teardrops. It has a nice ruby growth in the spring contrasted blue foliage that make a great small conifer for any garden. Ruby Teardrops may reach 3 to 4 feet tall and wide in 10 years, and deer don't bother them at all. We'll take skinny to the max with this sword-like narrow habit of the conifer, Thuja occidentalis sting, or sting arborvitae. It is a native eastern arborvitae, so you need to be cautious about deer. It reaches 15 to 20 feet tall, but only 1 to 1.5 feet wide. The next one is the Moonfrost Canadian Hemlock. This dwarf conifer will reach 4 feet tall and wide in 10 years. It's performed well in both full sun to full shade. The variegated foliage has new growth that emerge white, often brushed with a pink in winter. The next one is another blue spruce, Picea pungent globosa. Its attractive blue needles hold their color throughout the year. This conifer reaches 3 to 4 feet tall and 4 to 6 feet wide in 10 years. Close to it there is a Picea abies push, the collector's conifer of the year in 2008. This conifer produces loads of bright red cones on many short branches in spring. It reaches 2 feet tall and 3 feet wide in 10 years. Behind it, I have Chamaecyparis King's Gold, a dwarf tighter version of the original standard gold mop cypress. It holds its brilliant golden yellow color very well in the heat and humidity, even if you live in the south or southeastern United States. It will reach 3 to 5 feet tall and wide in 10 years. Then there is a Picea glauca Little Dipper spruce with gray-green foliage and sturdy branches. It will mature in the perfect conical shape, reaching 6 feet tall and 4 feet wide in 10 years. I also have another Chamaecyparis obtusa Monnier or Jade Wave Fern Spray Fall Cypress. It has a compact, graceful, curved branches that hold a spray of fur-like green foliage. They said it will have a bronze hue in the winter, but I haven't seen that happen yet. It will reach 6 to 8 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide in 10 years. Next is Picea glauca North Star. It has a dense branched, classic pyramidal shape covered with a medium green needles. It reaches 12 feet tall and 6 feet wide in 10 years. This might be one of my favorite yellow conifer, Thuja plicata Forever Goldy. As a western arborvitae, deer don't really chew them down. This beautiful gold conifer doesn't bleach out during the summer. I love that it gives a pop of the color in the landscape in all seasons. It will reach 12 feet tall and 3 to 3.5 feet wide in 10 years. The next one is the one that it is in the category I would say I can't resist to buy it, but I bought it anyway. It is a Picea abies Braze. When I saw the bright red new growth in the spring, I just had to have it. I even drove back to the nursery the next day to buy it before it was gone. It will reach 8 feet tall and 6 feet wide in 10 years. This one might be the only weeping blue spruce I have, Picea glauca slenderina. I love its weeping habit. It will reach 12 to 14 feet tall and 6 to 8 feet wide in 10 years. This is the new addition that I got at 50% sale in fall, a standard form of blue star juniper. It will reach 3 to 5 feet tall and 3 to 4 feet wide in 10 years. For some reason, I just noticed I love the yellow conifer. This one called Sea of Gold Juniper. It has superb color retention with a gold hue that deepens in the winter, better than other gold tip varieties. It will reach 3 feet tall and 4 feet wide in 10 years. And here are the survivors from deer, Truman junipers. Technically, deer shouldn't eat them, but I believe it was the first year I planted them when they got a lot of boost from the nursery. At least they have been bouncing back now. They are native to Midwest and will reach 15 feet tall at the maturity and spread about 3 to 4 feet wide. From this section is all about the conifer that change color. I will just talk briefly about them. If you want to learn about more detail on these conifers, please check my prior video. This one is a fire sheep arborvitae that changed to coppery reddish color in winter. A lime grove juniper. I can't believe it was a chartreuse during the growing season, but now it has changed to this rust color in winter. A Pinus Mugo Karsten Winter Gold changes from green to a screw bust yellow in the winter. This one is unknown ground cover juniper that I bought on sale with a wrong label. It has a lime green color during the growing season but turned bronze in winter. I have it close to Juniperus Andorra Compacta to observe if they are the same, but they're not. Junipera Andorra Compacta has a purple hue in the winter. The last one is Celtic Pride Siberian Cypress, which turned a rust or copper color. I can't imagine it was a light green plant before. And here is the end of the video. If you like it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It will encourage me to continue working on more videos. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye!